We will start with our speakers now, and I need to put this on. There we go. Okay. Because our first speaker is the man whose name I got on my chest here, Dave Ross. He is the not the lieutenant governor. Almost. Yes. We hope so. He is the mayor in Superior, and he is a candidate for lieutenant governor. And Dave, if you could come at this time.
Travis, Guy, your new treasurer, it's always a privilege to be at party events. This is where we really can get together and really be ourselves. I come from an area that's highly democratic, and I'm the only elected conservative in the entire area, so you can imagine what that's like. Let me tell you a little bit about my story. We were just with Michael Steele on Saturday at the 1st District Fall Fest. And Michael Steele says, you need to wake up and you need to get out and you need to tell your story. And this is my story. For over 20 years, I was a self-employed upholsterer. I was the guy that upholstered your furniture, put a new cover on it, and delivered it back to your house. And I did that for over 20 years, working with my hands and enjoying that craft. And one day I was sitting home reading the newspaper in the kitchen with my wife, Lynn, who's sitting over here, of 36 years now. And I was sitting reading the paper, and the city council was about to raise my taxes nearly 13%. Now, being self-employed, I know that if they raise my taxes, I either cut something out of my budget, or I have to work an awful lot harder the following year to make up for the dollars government wanted to take out of my pocket. And so I called the finance director. I got on the phone and I called the finance director. I'm always one that needs information. I want to know the numbers. And I said, you're adding this fee, and you're raising the levy by nearly 4%. To me, that's 13% increase in my local property taxes. You know what she said to me? She said, you know, you're right. And you're the first person that figured it out. I said, why don't you run for mayor? Well, I put the phone down, and I looked at my wife, and I said, honey, I think I'm going to run for mayor. And we put together a great team of about 80 volunteers, and we raised a lot of money. And we went against an incumbent who said that she had brought smaller government to the city of Superior. She said that in her first term, she had reduced our workforce by 1/2 of one position. And then declared that we were down to bare bones government. Now we have nearly 300 employees in the city of Superior, and she had eliminated 1/2 of one position. And then she looked at me in one of the debates, and I was telling Mary Williams, your fine representative here, I said, we had 17.5 hours of debates in that first mayoral race that I was in. And she would always look at me and say, Mr. Ross. Now, I don't know why she called me Mr. I was younger than her. She said, Mr. Ross, how are you going to bring smaller government? That's all you ever talk about. Well, we delivered that message, and I made a promise to my community. I told my community that I would give them smaller government. I told them that I would restrain the growth in taxes. I told them we would reduce indebtedness in the city of Superior. I told them that we could deliver services in a far more efficient manner than we had. And I even told our citizens that we weren't going to make the development mistakes other communities were. We were going to develop, and we were going to do development successfully within our community. That's what I promised on my first run. Now, can you imagine an openly conservative Republican mayoral candidate in an area that votes 67% Democratic in every election? And I won that race. I won the primary with more votes than all three opponents, including the incumbent. And I won the general election with 58% of the vote. Now, you know, we have kind of a brand problem in the Republican Party. We do. You know, we talk about smaller government, we talk about less taxes, we talk about less debt, and have we delivered on that promise? Well, we delivered in the city of Superior on that promise. We reduced structural spending by $3.5 million. As of date, we've eliminated over 30 positions in city government. And I have a plan in place in which we're 2.5 years into that plan. The only city in the state of Wisconsin, our size, that has a plan to eliminate all debt, general obligation debt in the city of Superior. That's $28 million in debt. And our plan is to go to zero. And by the way, we are millions of dollars in reduction in debt into that plan. And our citizens in the city of Superior like that. They like conservative leadership. They don't like Democrat-like candidates. These are Republicans that act like Democrats, thinking they'll vote for them. You know what they'll do? They'll vote for the real thing. If they want to vote for a Democrat, they'll vote for the real thing. But we deliver true conservative government to the city of Superior. And in my second run for re-election, I was voted with nearly 62% of the vote in our community. And this is why I am a candidate for Lieutenant Governor. This is why I'm in this statewide race. You know, we're running a race that's covering all 72 counties. Mary and I had a little conversation about the math in Wisconsin. The math says all the votes are in Madison, Milwaukee, and Green Bay, this little corner. And you know, I'm a candidate. We've been in now 45 counties since January. We're not passing up the Pierce counties and the Monroe counties and the Pepin counties and the Douglas counties and counties like Rusk, because your vote counts too in this election. You're an important part of this process of selecting your next lieutenant governor. And that's why I'm here tonight and proud to be here with Travis and Guy and support their effort here in building this great party. Now let me tell you this before I close. We have to run. We're on our way. Every weekend we end up in Milwaukee, Green Bay, Madison on our campaign trip. So we need to get out the door fast as we're on the road. Tomorrow we have an event in Milwaukee tomorrow, so we need to get moving. But let me encourage you with one last thing. Please go to our website, friendsofdaveroth.com. Really easy. And support this race if you can. You can donate on site. You can send a check through our website. There's an address there. You know, we need to stay on the road and give this great message. And I want to thank you for some of you that have been generous to my campaign. Thank you in advance. But we need your support to keep this message and to continue to bring proven, dependable leadership to this race. I'm going to have a number of opponents. None of them have a record like I do in the city of Superior. Thank you so much. I appreciate all you do. Travis, you're a great guy. Keep up the good work.
Thanks.